Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later, as now it's time for today's Toy of the Week video. Now before we begin, I just wanted to say a big whopping thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel so far. Now it's hard to believe, but I only started this endeavour about 2 months ago as a bit of a project whilst we were all in lockdown. And as of the last few days, there are now well over 1,000 people who have signed up to hear me ramble about robots on a regular basis. That's amazing news, and I couldn't be happier to have you all along for the ride, so thank you again. Now, to celebrate hitting my first major milestone, I thought it was only apt to choose a really special toy for this week's video. Something to go bananas about, as it were, just to let you know how much I all appreciate your support. Okay, look, I will stop, but I went into the vaults and unearthed something truly noteworthy. This is the original Gorilla Optimus Primal toy from 1996, so let it be called Beast Wars. Optimus Primal was part of the first wave of Beast Wars toys to be released in 1996 and represents the popular Maximal Commander with one of the most well-remembered toys from the entire line. This version of Optimus was an ultra-class release, that being the biggest size of toys at the time and the most involved in terms of design and play value. Over its run, the Beast Wars toy line would quickly evolve, pun not intended, to incorporate various different concepts and gimmicks in a bid to continually shake things up and keep them fresh. Needless to say, it didn't win over every die-hard Transformers fan at the time, but if anything it carved out a unique identity all of its own, away from simply replicating what the franchise had tried to do previously. Ultra-class Optimus Primal may be one of the earliest toys from the line, but it still represents a clean break from the past in many ways. Of course, this wasn't actually the first toy to bear the name Optimus Primal. That was the Bat version, which was included as part of a 2-pack with Crocodile Megatron, although the Gorilla toy's focus in the popular mainframe Beast Wars cartoon means that it's often thought of as the default design for the character. In fact, it's surprising to see just how close the animation veers to the ultra-class toy overall, with only a few liberties being taken with the smaller features on offer, not to mention the rather infamous addition of a mouth in place of a solid faceplate. Still, it was a revelation at the time to see Transformers toys looking relatively accurate versus their on-screen counterparts, something that would only become more notable as the show progressed. The toy itself is a thing of beauty, rife with detail and looking suitably impressive in terms of stature. Yet there's a lot more going on here than just good looks, as we'll see. Let's start with taking a look at that unmistakable beast form. A lot of fans may have protested the move to animal alt modes at the time, most notably with the now legendary cry of "truck not monkey" on the internet, but in retrospect this seems like a natural fit as a secondary configuration for an Autobot or indeed a Maximal leader. It's a relatively tidy affair overall, managing to hide a decent amount of the robot kibble to provide a surprisingly coherent looking simian form. I particularly like the face sculpt here, as even though it's not exactly a dead ringer for his animation portrayal, it manages to look at once kinda heroic while still being somehow menacing and powerful. You gotta love those baby blue eyes too. There's also a decent amount of articulation on offer, even if it is mostly a handover from the robot mode, and there's even a built-in mechanism where flicking a switch in the toy's back will make Optimus beat his chest in signature animalistic fashion. You'll have to provide your own gorilla noises though. Once you're done with the beast mode, it's a very simple affair to get him transformed, so much so that Mainframe didn't even need to reinvent it that much for the cartoon.
Optimus, maximize!
As for the robot mode, it's an impressive beast all of its own, with accentuated proportions making him look surprisingly beefy. He certainly looks pretty ferocious to me. The head sculpt is at once entirely familiar and yet somehow still its own thing, with a rather uncharacteristic set of red eyes and a prominent pair of movable grey antennae. Like a lot of early Beast Wars toys, Optimus Primal also features a second face of sorts, with the mutant mask being an optional flip-out feature that covers his regular profile. Given this idea was dropped fairly quickly in the line, it seems a little bizarre now in retrospect, but for what it's worth I think it's still a bit of fun and looks about as hideous as you'd hope for. There are of course plenty of other features though. In fact, this toy is simply laden with them. One of my favourite aspects are those pop-out shoulder cannons, which are spring-loaded and can be activated by pressing a button on his bottom. They can each store a blue missile, which in turn can be fired by pressing another button on top of the launcher itself. Just be careful not to take your eye out in the process. As if that wasn't enough firepower, then his left arm can be undone to reveal another spring-loaded cannon, this time of the double barrel persuasion, firing off another pair of blue missiles. Rather than just another projectile, the right arm is sporting a small hidden compartment, inside of which you'll find a distinctive skull-shaped mace weapon, which is connected to a handle via a short piece of string. Optimus can hold the mace in either hand for a bit of close-quarters battle action. The toy also comes with a pair of blue swords which can be held in hand or stowed away neatly inside his backpack when not in use, although sadly the ones from my copy have since departed. As if all that wasn't enough, the beating chest action from the beast mode can be further utilised here. Just flick a small switch on either bicep, and now when you toggle the lever in his back, the arms will flail around in a manner meant to depict sword fighting action, although in reality it's a little bizarre to say the least. Overall, there's a lot of good things that could be said about this toy, especially as it really feels like the designers packed in as much fun and play value as they could in an effort to bring something truly special to the table for the new Beast Wars lineup. This design would go on to be extensively repainted over many years. There was originally a clear version available in Japan, along with a distinctively more grey version known as Real Grey Type. In addition, there was a burning convoy version of the mould, meant to resemble the character's powered-up appearance in the Beast Wars second TV movie. There was also a fairly crazy repaint done for the Universe line in 2003, although it was, if anything, quite tame by the standard of some of the toys it was released alongside. Then there have been several attempts to give the original design a more cartoon-accurate paint job, including the Telemocker DX version from 2007, and the slightly retooled Beast Wars Reborn version from 2006, to say nothing of the further redesigning done for lines such as Robot Masters. And finally, there have been a number of special edition releases in blue, gold and red. They're all ultra rare and only available in extremely limited quantities, meaning that most of us will only ever experience them through pictures. Still, if all you've ever known is the original take on this toy, then you can count yourself lucky, as it's a beast of a design that will go down as one for the ages. So, confession time. This is my original copy back from when I first picked it up at retail, and as much as I really do love it, I have decided that sadly it's time to part ways, and it's currently listed on eBay as we speak. Now that's definitely with some mixed feelings about letting it go, but it just felt like the right time to make way for other stuff at the same time. Anyway, it was a good excuse for one last hurrah with this video, and besides, I can kind of see myself coming back to collect the original Beast Wars line at some point in the future, so maybe I'll be picking him up again one day, who knows. I mean, it really is a fun toy, as I say, just check out some of these gimmicks like this chest beating action for starters. Strangely satisfying, although I really don't know why. And if you thought that wasn't enough, just check out these launchers. That's the stuff. So overall, this is a top tier toy and an absolute must if you're at all interested in assembling a vintage Beast Wars collection. If not, then maybe do yourself a favour and treat yourself to one of the masterpiece releases of this character instead. I'm a particular fan of the MP38 Legendary Leader version, and whilst it's not exactly meant to be a toy-inspired homage, the paint job does do a great job at bringing this original design back up to date at the same time. Otherwise, a big thank you once again to everyone who's subscribed to the channel so far, and I really do appreciate you helping me get past the 1K mark so quickly. Now, I hope you're all enjoying the content I'm putting out, but if indeed you do have other ideas for toys that I should talk about, then by all means let me know. Anyway, quick final shout out to everyone who supports me on Patreon as well. Details are coming up at the end of the video, so if you'd like to do the same, of course that's appreciated. That's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your day. TTFN.